I'd be mortified if all this unravelled. Hello everyone and welcome to the 27th episode of the Blind Pinterest Challenge, the series where I recreate different crafts and DIY projects from Pinterest without any instructions, because girls just want to have fun. Okay, so I think we're going to start this episode off with some DIY mini palette coasters, because I think these are super cute. I feel like I always say things are super cute, but these are super cute. And I think they'll be quite easy to make. I just need to find some tiny bits of wood, possibly some lollipop sticks and other miscellaneous wood pieces. But I think they're quite nice. They're a bit boho, a bit... what are them people called? Hipsters. It's a bit hipstery. I know that's not a word, but that's what it's like. Especially with the jar drink. You know, you can't drink out of a normal glass. It has to be a jar with a handle because I'm so fun and unique. But I like the little palette and I think I can do it, so I'm gonna try that one. I also fancy making this because I think these look really nice. They look very modern, very contemporary. I assume I would just need some sort of big hoop and then lots of yarn in whatever colours I want, and then kind of attach it in some sort of way to create that pattern. These are for sale as well on Etsy. I just want to see how much they cost. Okay, so these cost £27.47 for the smallest 6" by 6" size. So I'm going to challenge myself further and see if I can make this for less than £27.47. I think I can. I think that's quite easy actually. Another craft project that I fancy is this mosaic tray using DVDs and resin, which it's already told us, so I know what it's made out of, so it's not that much of a mystery. But I think that looks really nice actually. I think I can create something very similar to this and can't foresee any troubles with it, so definitely going to give that one a bash. And I think the 3 craft projects that I've chosen so far are quite serious, like hardcore crafts, which is great. Love that. Can't get enough of it. But I'm going to balance it out with something that's just like a little bit naff, and I'm going to make these dancing princesses pipe cleaner crafts just for shits and giggles really. You know, they're different. I wouldn't necessarily call them my kind of style, but I assume this is more catered towards children. I can't see an adult wanting to make these. I suppose some adults might. I don't know why. But yeah, so I'm going to try some dancing princesses. Okay, so I think that's all the crafts that I'm going to attempt today. I don't want to go too crazy, too overboard. So I'll see you in a couple of weeks. We can get crafting. And I know you all are so excited to see these little dancing princesses, pipe cleaner, whatever they are. Because I can't wait. I think it's going to be so fun. Sarcasm overload. Okay, I'm finally back. And I don't know whether you can notice, but I've got like a massive spot on my nose. I'm hoping the studio lights are just kind of like pushing it back into my face. But if you do see a giant red, massive, hideous spot on the end of my nose, well, I'm not going to apologise for it because it's only natural. Actually, it's not natural because it was like a little tiny spot and then I attacked it last night in the mirror and I should have just left it alone. I knew it was going to get worse. It's my own fault. So if you see it, just ignore it. Anyway, I thought I would start off with the little mini palettes. So I've got 2 different bits of wood here. I've got some lollipop sticks and I've got some like thicker chunky kind of bits of wood, and I think I just need to cut it apart and stick it together really. I'm hoping I can use scissors. I think that'll actually be quite a good length for a coaster. I obviously just need to cut off the round bits. Don't know where that went. Thing is, the studio is so messy at the minute. I really need to clean it. There's bits of shit all over the place. I was going to measure it, but don't fancy it. They're a similar size. It'll do. The thing is, palettes are quite like rough and ready anyway, aren't they? So you don't want them to look super perfect. I feel like mine might need more than 4. Right, does that look like a decent size for a coaster? Oh yeah. Oh, that'll work. Oh, I've just realised I need to do another 5 on the bottom, don't I? Okay, done. So now I need these chunkier bits to kind of lay in between these 2. I don't think I'm going to be able to cut these with scissors. I think I might have to measure this part because I can see this going wrong. So that fits a cannon quite nicely. So I probably just want that to be about that length. Right, let me just see if scissors will go through this. I don't know whether it's going to. Oh, it is. That looks a bit shit though. That's not going to work. Right, I've got my special little mini saw and I'm just going to saw them. I didn't want to do this because I'm scared of power tools, but try my best. Is it turned off before I plug this in? Oh, I don't know. I'll hold it just in case it's not. Okay, that's fine. That's not as scary as I thought it was going to be. That's crap. No, I'm not using that. I'm just going to use a pair of scissors. That tool was absolutely shite. Yes, it won't be super neat, but it'll take us like an hour to cut through one of them with that. I really need a new pair of scissors. These scissors are so blunt. There we go. Okay, so I feel like I've got all my little bits that I need. So now I'm just going to super glue them together. I was going to use hot glue, but hot glue will just get so messy. Oh, this glue just came out everywhere. Oh, you shit. Super glue as well. No. Get off the table. Right, try that again. I wasn't expecting the glue to come out so quick. I'm honestly so tempted to just get the hot glue going. I don't think super glue's gonna work. Now look at that, that's not doing anything. This super glue's ancient as well, it's like years old. Probably doesn't even work anymore. Right, I'm gonna get the hot glue gun. I feel like something like this shouldn't be causing me this much trouble. It should be very straightforward. But again, it's just me making things look way harder than it is. I know it is. I haven't even made this yet, and I have a feeling mine's not gonna look very good. Oh, hot glue was so much easier. I don't know why I thought super glue would work. No, hot glue's not even working. What is going on today? Everything's falling apart. I might have just cut loads of bits out of that, but this is causing so much chew. And I don't know why.
I don't understand. I don't understand, bitch. I don't understand.
I suppose it still is early in the morning, so I might not have woke up yet. I might need time. Right, I'll space them out a bit so it looks a little neater, and then hopefully this will look a bit like a palette. Okay, I think that's turned out better than I was expecting. It actually looks kind of like a palette. It's definitely on the rough side, but I was struggling with it for some reason, and I'm just happy it looks the way it looks. But now they've done some writing on the bottom of their palettes, and they're very kind of like inspirational, lovely sayings, like feet up and relax. I can't stand that. That's not my kind of style at all. So I want to write something different. Okay, I'm just gonna write D-R-U-N-K exclamation point. Drunk. Okay, so we have expectation and reality, and it just... Mine looks a little sad and quite rough. It looks really rough around the edges compared to theirs. And if you look at my writing, because I've used a Sharpie on kind of a lollipop stick, it's all just ran and blurred, and it just looks really shitty, doesn't it? I don't like it. But it still works as a coaster, and it still looks like a mini palette. I don't have a jar with a handle on because I'm not an arse, but I do have a can of Coke. And it fits on there nicely, it works, so I get points for that. Just the design and the aesthetics of it, I'm a -10. And price-wise, to make something like this, all I bought was the lollipop sticks and the other bits of wood. And obviously I didn't use all of them, so I would say it probably cost me about 50 pence, which isn't bad. That's not bad at all, 50p. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it, but I'm just hoping I'm going to have a little bit more luck with the next crafts. Okay, next up, I thought I would try the CD Mosaic tray. And for this, I just bought a regular plain wooden serving tray, which obviously looked pretty boring and nothing like the original. So it was just time to paint this white. And I also wanted to paint this white because I wanted to seal in the areas around the side so none of the resin would leak out like it did the last time I tried something similar to this. I'm learning from my mistakes. It's not happening again. And I did have a little rummage around the studio because I was sure I had some of that ancient technology that we call CDs. And I did. I had some. And all I decided to do was cut these CDs up into little chunks. And I'm not gonna lie, it took absolutely ages. It was horrible to do, and it left such a mess. The mess was a very pretty mess, but it was still a mess. There was little bits of silver all over the place. But I finally had enough little CD mosaic pieces to cover this entire tray, and all I did was hot glue them into place to stop them moving. Once that was finally done, I just took some epoxy resin that I'd already mixed up and poured it over this entire tray, making sure to cover every single area. And it wasn't leaking either, so I was over the moon. But we have expectation and reality. And I think I've done quite a decent interpretation. I do think mine looks a lot different to theirs because mine's a bigger tray, and also I think they've used a lot more CD pieces. And the reason I didn't use more CD pieces is because cutting the CD pieces, it's just awful. It was a right pain in the ass. I hated it. From far away this looks really nice, but up close, I don't know whether you can see on the edges, like there for example, all the silver from the CDs, the foil stuff, it actually just comes off as you're cutting them. So it looks really, really messy. I don't know how they got theirs so perfect. I love the effect, And I love the idea, and I think it looks really, really nice. Like, look at that. That's sexy. That's very sexy. However, up close it just looks really shitty. It looks awful. It looks a mess. So I don't know whether there's a better way to get the CDs into smaller pieces, and I just don't know what way that is. But the way I've used shreds them to pieces. But anyway, how much did this cost us? I don't think it cost us quite a lot, actually. I think I only need to buy a tray. Okay, so this tray cost me £15.99. And to be fair, that's quite expensive for the tray, because I was at Dunelm the other day, and I don't know what I was buying, but I was shopping for something, and I found some trays that were already white, looked way nicer than this, and they were about £5. So I've ripped myself off because I couldn't be asked to shop around. It's because life gets in the way sometimes. But I could definitely get the price down on this if I wanted to, and if I decided to, and next time I will. Alright, so I didn't want to leave you hanging and leaving the best till last, so I thought I would jump straight in and make the Dancing Fairy Pipe Cleaner Princesses, because I know everyone's thrilled and very excited for this one. So I've got some pipe cleaners here, I've got some tissue paper, and I'm just going to try and make what they've made. Weirdly enough, when you look at an image, it's sometimes quite difficult to figure out how they've done it. I'm going to try my best. I think I might need an elastic band, actually. I'll try and make the body first. I'm not really an expert with pipe cleaners, so I don't know how this is going to go. So they've obviously done a loop for the head. Gorgeous. Have they just tied one around there for the arms? I feel like they might have cut theirs down because this is going to be very lanky. Then where did that leg go? I think they must have just attached one here, because all this middle bit's going to be hidden by the tissue paper, so it's fine if it looks crap. That neck's way too high. What have I done there? That's not right. I'll chop your head off, sorry. Make your head a bit further down. Okay, that's obviously very out of proportion, so I need to fix that. I'm just going to cut a bit of the arm off. And then the legs, I think, are a bit long too. Okay, I think that's a good start. So now I need to dress your naked body. How have they done this? Maybe if I poke a hole, cut a hole in the top, and then maybe shove your head through. Like that. Poke your arms through. Alright, that looks kind of like okay. The thing is, everyone has to remember, I'm doing it without instructions, so I'm just trying to have to figure it out. So I think that dress is too long. Cut that bit off. I still feel like they used an elastic band there. Let me get an elastic band. I've just found an elastic band that's basically the same colour, which is perfect. I don't think this is how they've done it, but they don't give you any up-close images, so I can't really tell. This elastic band's huge. This isn't going to work. I'm taking that off. That looks ridiculous. How do you see the legs, though? Maybe it's a bit long. But I've learned from Drag Race that dresses are supposed to hit the floor.
It's a piece of fabric.
I still feel like the dress is too long. Definitely needs to be cinched in, doesn't it? I'm gonna get another elastic band. It needs something. Right, we'll go for a smaller one. I don't know why I care so much. I really don't. Alright, that looks a bit better. It doesn't stand up. I don't know how the hell they got it to stand up. Okay, I think I'm done pissing around with that. So we have expectation and reality. There's my little pipe cleaner princess. And I have absolutely no idea how they've got theirs to stand up. I think they're lying to us. It doesn't want to stand up at all. I think mine kinda looks okay. But who on earth would want to make this? Now look at the state of it. But you know, it's obviously for kids, and a child might really enjoy making these. And it was relatively easy. And that's all I've really got to say about it. And this pipe cleaner princess thing, well, it cost me 3 pipe cleaners, or 2 pipe cleaners I think I've used. So however much a pipe cleaner costs, probably is a few pence. It wasn't expensive. Let me know down in the comments if this is something you would make, and why. Why would you make it? I'm moving on to the final craft project, and it's the hanging, modern, contemporary yarn thing. I'm not entirely sure what you would call it, and I know I was trying to beat their price, and I'm still trying to beat their price, and the one I was basing it on was a 6-inch one, so mine's 10-inch. My ring, not that thing. If it was 10 inches, I'd be very popular, and it's not like I've measured or anything like that. I have measured. But anyway, I've got my 10-inch ring here, and I think this one's going to cause us the most trouble because it's a textile craft, and I don't really understand how they've done their wrapping technique. So I'm just going to go for it and see what happens, I guess. Also, I realised in their original pin, they've used 4 different colours of yarn, and I didn't buy any yarn because I thought I would have enough to make whatever this is with the yarn I've already got. But then I remembered I made that stupid wig out of yarn. it's down there, and that basically used all my good yarn. So I'm only going to do a 3-coloured one. So I've got some white, some beige, and some red. And I still think it's going to work, but really I should have had a colour either in between them two or in between them two. But never mind. I think I'll start with white. Now, how have they done it? Well, obviously you start by tying a bit of yarn to your loop. Then I think I'll just wrap and see what happens. I'm wondering if they've kind of gone around like that to keep it nice and taut, and then just gone back and forth. I think that's what they've done. Right, we'll use this technique and see how I get on with it, and hopefully it starts to look similar to theirs. This is also going to take me absolutely ages. It's so confusing because something like this, you really need to know how they've done it. It's too hard to guess. I still don't really understand what I'm doing. I'm just wrapping this bit of wood and hoping it'll eventually turn into what they've done. Also, because of the tension of the yarn, it's starting to like warp the circle, which is quite concerning. Oh, I can already tell mine's looking shit. It doesn't look at all like theirs. I've done something wrong. Mine's never going to look like the original. Just wrapping a random hoop in wool and just hoping that it magically turns into what they've done. I'm also terrified that if I keep pissing around with this, it's all just going to break and fall apart. It's starting to get a similar effect actually in that middle bit. Maybe it's a grower and not a shower, or a shower and not a grower. I can't remember which way around it is. So maybe you just have to persevere with it. Okay, so we have expectation and reality. And I think the only similar thing that mine and the original has in common is the fact that mine's a circular shape and they're both made with yarn, and that's where it ends, that's where it stops. And this is obviously down to the fact that I don't know their wrapping technique. They've obviously got a very specific way of making this, and I don't know how it's done. I actually don't mind it from far away. I know I say that about a lot of things, but far away it looks okay. It looks really nice. It took me so long to make as well. But anyway, did I beat the original on price? I bloody hope so. So their original was £27.47. Mine was about £1. And I think you'd be able to tell that. I think if they were side by side, theirs looks just way nicer and way more put together than mine does. But I still think I'd rather have mine for £1 than spend £27.47 on theirs. It looked nice, but I don't think it's worth 27 quid. I think mine's worth £1. I think I would even stretch that and say I think mine's worth £1.50. But anyway, that does it for today's episode of the Blind Pinterest Challenge. Hopefully you have enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And I can only apologise that these crafts haven't gone particularly well. I feel like I'm having an off day today. I think I've been doing so well recently that a shitter was overdue. Like a proper shitter. Like, I don't think any of the crafts I've done, how many have I done? 4? I don't think any of the 4 crafts I've done today have been good. I think they've honestly been average at best, if not poor. But hopefully I'll have more luck with the next episode, whenever that'll be. Might pick some really easy ones next time. I thought these were really easy, to be fair, and then I did them and realised they weren't.